So to make a bouquet garni, which is used to flavor soups and casseroles, you would want around about 4 sprigs of parsley. I have Italian parsley, 4 of thyme, and a bay leaf. So just like it always is the case with herbs, these the recipe for a bouquet garni can be a lot of different things. This is kind of the traditional start. Some traditional variations would be adding rosemary sprigs or sage or black peppercorns if you're going to use dried herbs in a muslin bag like this. If you're using the dried herbs in a muslin bag, which means you're using like bottled herbs instead of dried herbs on the stem, you want about a tablespoon of parsley, a heaping teaspoon of thyme, and a bay leaf. If you're using fresh or dried herbs on a stem, then you would use cooking twine to bind them together, and that's all you need to do. That's how you would give it to your receiver. The leafy parts of the bouquet garni, if they're just bundled together like this, are going to disintegrate in the soup or the casserole, besides the bay leaf, which should be taken out anyway. And then of course the hardwoody parts and stems would be taken out as well. So that's all that you need for that. For making an herbal infused olive oil and or vinegar, you want to start with a clean glass bottle, hopefully one that you can just reuse. This is something I'm reusing. It has to be sterilized, so that means going through the antibacterial cycle of your dishwasher or dipping it in boiling water for like 30 seconds. And then you need to make sure that you are using it when it's completely dry. There should be no water droplets whatsoever on your glass. And that's important because any kind of water that gets trapped with the herbs and the olive oil, that can lead to botulism. And I can guarantee that's not on your receiver's gift list, so you don't want to accidentally give it to them. So with the olive oil, you just put in your dried herbs of choice. So maybe some dried thyme. This is not dried, it's fresh, but I'm just demonstrating. Dried rosemary. You don't need that many. You just put some in, pour the olive oil over it, and then cap it up, and it's good to go. You can take out the herbs after a couple weeks, or the person that you give it to can take out the herbs after a couple weeks, but they look pretty in there, and they will continue to impart their flavor, so it doesn't really matter. You want to use it within about a month. You can keep it in the fridge for it to last longer. A lot of people warm up their olive oil or their vinegar before pouring it over the herbs. The vinegar, you just do the exact same process. But I never have, and I have always had great luck with having flavor. And when you're making like an herbal body oil, so like a calendula or a St. John's wort oil, you generally don't warm it up, which is why I've never warmed it up. But it's up to you. If you want to go that route, you want to warm it up, not to the boiling point, but close. And then pour it over your herbs, let it cool down, and then stopper it. And make sure you label it. A date on there would be a fantastic idea, and maybe instructions for use. So with the olive oil and the vinegar, you might want to say that these would be good for salad dressing or for pouring together and making a bread dip. Vinegar, you can use any vinegar that you want. Vinegar is a natural preservative, so you can also use fresh herbs or dried herbs. So using peeled garlic cloves is a great idea for the vinegar, or people do lemon slices, I know, with the vinegar. And then again, you can take out the herbs or fruit if you want, but you don't have to. Just make sure you label it, put a nice ribbon on it, and it's good to go. So I hope you have fun playing with your dried and fresh herbs, and be sure to be creative. And again, don't get hung up on proportions or exact recipes, because this is organic, natural stuff, and there are 1,000, probably more than 1,000 variations that are going to work. Have fun.